Hey guys, in the fast lane here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to bench test your TPSs. Now, we're not going to do this on the vehicle. We're actually going to do this right here on this bench using only a multimeter. To make it easier, I went ahead and drew this up real quick just so you guys could have a real good idea of how it works and what we're looking at. Some TPSs have 4 pins and others have 3 pins. Before we get started, we need to set the multimeter up properly, and especially if you're using an auto-ranging multimeter, you definitely need to do this step first. What we're going to do is we're going to turn it to ohms right here, and it's already set to auto. We don't want that. Auto will, when you hook up to the TPS, it can fluctuate all over the place, and that's not what we need. What we have to do is we have to go to range right here, and we need to select it until we get to kilo-ohms. So we're on the K, but as you can see, the decimal is all the way to the left of the OL, so it's a very high rating, and it's not going to show anything small. We need to move it over 1. So now we have it in the middle of the OL, the decimal, and when we hook up, we'll be able to read those kilo-ohms properly. If you're using a more standard digital multimeter, you can set this to 20,000 kilo-ohms right here. Or you can even set it to 200,000 kilo-ohms and that'll still read it. It'll just have a 0 in the front. However, I just want to point out with this standard one, if you look right here, there's a dot or a decimal right there. It says 200. Then you have another decimal where it shows 20,000 or 2,000. That's actually the 2,000 decimal. And this right here where it looks like it's blank, that's the 20,000 K value. That's what we'll set it to, not there, but right here. That's where you want to set it, and that'll give you a true reading. A quick rundown on these TPSs and what vehicles they pretty much come out of. The Toyota TPS, this 22RE, you can find this in an 89 to 95 Toyota pickup truck, or you can find it in an 89 to 95 Toyota 4Runner. For the Honda, this is going to be a Honda Civic TPS, and actually Integra, B series have these as well. You can find this in a 92 all the way to 2000 Honda Civic, Del Sol, Acura Integra. As far as the Ford, this is going to be found in pretty much any 2.3 liter or 3 liter Ford Ranger, even Ford Focus, Ford Escape. That's where you'll find those. To make the job easier, I'm going to take these alligator clips and I'm going to clip them onto the multimeter probes. Doesn't matter which one's which. And then I will take this end of the alligator clips and we will just clip them on the pins on the TPS. We're going to start off with the Toyota TPS, and this is a common one, a 22RE. A lot of folks have that vehicle. M125 is what's on the sticker. And we're going to be looking at these 4 pins. Now if you look at this schematic or diagram right here, we have the VCC on the far left. That's going to be your 5 volt. The VTA, now a VTA is pretty much just the throttle angle. That's the throttle angle pin. And then the IDL, which is the idle. And then the E2, which is the last pin all the way to the right, the 4th pin, that's going to be the ground. Now the ones we're going to be focusing on are pretty much the VTA, the IDL, and the E2. The VCC, that's 5 volts. That's what you'll be using on the vehicle if you had 5 volts hooked up. But we're doing a bench test just using ohms, and we don't need any of that. We're going to start off with the Toyota 22RE TPS, very common one. And if you look up here, we have VTA to E2 needs to be 200 to 800 ohms, somewhere in that range. We'll go ahead and hook it up. If you look right here, it's showing the VTA and E2. VTA is pin number 2 and E2 is pin number 4. We're going to go pin 2. We have the multimeter set up the way I showed just earlier. And we're getting 94 ohms. Because this is off the throttle body, we're going to be okay. That's pretty close. I mean, 200. We would be probably right at 200 if we were on the throttle body. There you go. You see a little bit, 171, 320. It's going to be moving just a little bit. There we go, 200. You see how when I turn this just a little bit and then let go, we lose that reading? Plus heat, it's connected to the throttle body. It's going to be different. This is healthy with those two pins. Now we're going to switch from those two pins. We're going to go IDL to E2. We need to get 2.3 kilo-ohms at 0.57 millimeter, which is taking this and just moving it just a hair. 0.5 is half a millimeter. It's not much at all. We have IDL, which is pin 3, a 1, 2, 3 from the left to the right. Now make sure you're not touching other pins with the clips. And then E2, which is the ground, that's the 4th pin. Go ahead, touch that. Unfortunately, 25, 26 ohms is not 2.3 kilo-ohms. It's a much lower value. That's already indicating that this TPS is bad, but we'll go ahead and bump it up to 0.57 millimeter, which is half a millimeter gap. And we'll just move it just a little bit, this dial. And as you can see, it just goes up to 30, but it needs to go way, way up, and it's not. So as of right now, this is bad, but we'll go ahead and do one more test. The last one, VTA to E2, that's going to be pin 2 and then pin 4. It doesn't matter if you go negative or positive, positive or negative, it doesn't matter. It's going to have the same reading. There we go. We're getting 111, 110 ohms, and we want to go wide open. We're going to take this and we're going to turn it all the way. Now that right there is proving that we have a bad TPS. Wide open, we should be getting a reading to 3.3K to 10K, and we're getting nothing. Even halfway, nothing. Only when we're off. This is a bad TPS. Based on that, it's completely bad. Now that we confirm that the Toyota TPS is bad, we can set this one aside, and now we can work on the Honda TPS. Now this one's much simpler. It only has 3 pins. We have the 5 volt, which is the far left. We have the signal in the middle, and then we have the ground at the end. Real simple. If we look up here, we have a 5 volt to signal. We need to get 0.5 to 0.9 kilo-ohms. We'll take our 5 volt, which is the far left, and then we will take our signal, which is the middle. Again, be careful you don't touch the other pins to get a correct reading. All right. And we're getting, there it is, 0.4. That's really close. If we give it just a little bit, it'll probably get closer. There it is, 0.47. That's right on the edge of 0.5. I would say that's good. That's a good reading. We're safe with that one. Now let's go from the signal to the ground, and we're looking at 3.6 to 5.4 kilo-ohms. Signal, the middle one, go ahead and select the middle pin, and then we will select the ground, the far right one. And we're getting, oh, there we go. 5.4 is the max. We're at 5.6. I'm sure if we fluctuate this a little bit, you have to understand these are likely readings on the throttle body. With Honda, these are riveted in. You really can't take them off. If we give it just a little turn, it'll probably bring it right in to the range. There we go. That's just where it would sit naturally on the throttle body, if you look. Just a little bit. And you can see we're within spec. This is a good TPS. Now I want to show you another thing that you can test. You're going to connect from the signal to the ground. So the middle one, just like we had it, I didn't have to remove it, but we'll do it again. And then the ground on the outside. And I want to show you something to pay attention to, because this can solve a lot of irregular movement where you're hitting the gas pedal and it's like blipping and it's kind of kicking or jolting. Now if we watch this digital multimeter, we're going to turn this dial right here on the TPS slowly, and we're going to watch it, and we want it to be smooth. Just gradually descend down to like 0.4, 0.3 or whatnot. If it goes OL anywhere, if it says OL, or if it goes from like 2 to like 1,000, if the decimal moves, you know, way up, then it's bad. And there you go. 0.39. Now we can go back slowly. And you just want to see a nice gradual sweep where that indicator is changing the data to the ECU. And as you can see, that was nice and smooth. It went from 5.6 kilo-ohms all the way down to 0.39 kilo-ohms. This is a very good TPS with zero issues. Now that we're done with the Honda, we'll move on to the Ford. And the Ford one, it's pretty much the same thing. We have 5 volt, we have signal, we have ground, just like the Honda one. If we look up here, we have 5 volt to ground, needs to be 3 to 4 kilo-ohms. Let's go ahead and connect the 5 volt and ground. So we'll go 5 volt and ground instead of 5 volt signal. If you look at this Ford TPS, you can see a C, a B, and an A right above this clip. And right here I have that lettered C, B, and A. The 5 volt is going to be C. And then the ground is going to be A. Basically completely opposites of each other. Right now we're getting 3.82 kilo-ohms. And if you look, we need to be between 3 and 4 kilo-ohms. And that's exactly where we're at. The next measurement we're going to look at signal and ground. So we'll just move one of them. We'll take the middle one and we'll move it to the middle section without touching. We need to get between 0.35 closed to 0.9K. Now, I have to close this. Got to find out which way is closed. All the way to the right. Yeah, I'm going to say that that's not a good reading. And this thing is pretty finicky. If you look, if I just wiggle it a little bit, we're all over the place. Yep, I would say that is not a good TPS. But we will go ahead and test again with it open. Same setting. Signal and ground like we have it set up right now. Let me just double check to make sure that these are not touching. Yep, 4.95 kilo-ohm. That's way high. That's what it would be open. And if we turn it all the way down, even if the other side is closed, we're still at 1.75 kilo-ohm. We're not supposed to be any more than 0.35. So that right there is a bad reading. This is a defective TPS. Now that's what we're looking at. That's what you want to test. You want to run through these steps. You can screenshot it or whatnot. This will help you out a lot. This is how you bench test pretty much any TPS, as long as you get the schematics of how they're wired out, what pins are what, you can troubleshoot and diagnose any TPS just like this.